Ali, let's start with you. It was far from Barca at their best, but I suppose given all the criticism after that 0-0 draw, this was all about the 3 points.
You're happy about the 3 points. You're happy about the fact that you're now, again, top of the table. You're happy about the fact that Rakitic comes off the bench and scores a goal. You're happy about the fact that the substitutions by Quique Setien in bringing Riqui Puig and Ansu Fati made a difference. Certainly, the introduction of Riqui Puig in that midfield and changing the pace and the energy in that midfield, I thought was a difference maker. Those things you're happy about. The rest, no, sir, no thanks. Barcelona was predictable, repetitive, boring, passing the ball sideways and back, and then sideways and back again, and everything down the middle. No width whatsoever, no real change of pace, everything again down the middle, and so very easy to defend. But in the end, you take the 1-0, regardless of the performance, you take the 3 points, and now you move on to whatever is ahead of you. But Barcelona today, I think they're fortunate to get 3 points because for 74 minutes, it looked very likely that it was yet going to be another 0-0 draw and everybody was going to be questioning this team. You should continue to question this team, but you take the 3 points and move on.
Do we just expect too much, Frank, from this Barcelona side?
No, because you have the players that normally we can show something better than we see. And it seems that if Lionel Messi is not ready to make the difference, nobody else is going to do it. And Barcelona becomes, in fact, an average team if they don't have God with Lionel Messi. Nothing to bring much to the game, to the other players. As Ali said, you see nothing. I was pleased to see the big pressure from Bilbao in first half towards the defenders of Barcelona to make a little bit of pace and dangers to the game. But otherwise, as again Ali said, it was very boring, it was slow, it was static, it was central. We used to see differences when, of course, Xavi and Iniesta were playing, but not too many people can say that they are Xavi and Iniesta, and you can see that missing a lot because we don't see what we used to see for Barcelona. And again, if you don't have Messi doing something different like he did with the goal and some actions, you don't see mainly something from Barcelona players. Nothing else and nothing much to say, except that I'm supposing that you are supporting Barcelona if I see your jacket and your shirt today, because you're really very well wearing the color of the Catalan club.
Well, I have to brighten things up a little bit for Barca fans. I really wish we could have found that clip of Jules saying that Rakitic should never play for Barcelona again.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Rakitic.
He scored the winner, Jules.
Yeah, oh yeah. Ali can still score a goal in that team. But Frank can score a penalty for that team as well. It's not because he scored a goal today that suddenly he's become the best player in the world or something like that. I mean, you know, it was not the hardest goal as well to score. Seeing how the ball falls into his foot and then where he is in the box. I guess he scored. Yeah, he scored the winner, of course. I mean, he was named man of the match at the end. I mean, come on. Please.
Well, there weren't that many contenders. Once again, Frank, your countryman, Antoine Griezmann, we talked about the fact that you could pretty much give him a 6 for every single match that he plays for Barcelona. That's probably standard as well in this game. Just doesn't do enough, doesn't do hardly anything.
No, he lost it. You're right, Daniel. It's something I can't really explain because I thought he had a strong character that he could impose himself, but he had one chance the second half to score a goal on one Messi pass, I think, but the goalkeeper went out very quickly, but he could have taken him on. But I don't know. It seemed that he has a break and he doesn't want to release it because he's afraid of doing something special or just doing something. And that's the worst for a player. When you play with a break, you in fact don't play and you do worse than you should do. Again, I think it was a wrong choice for Griezmann to go to Barcelona. And it's the real question mark that he has to himself for the next season and to know if he's going to stay or he's going to go.
Well, one player who certainly has been playing with the handbrake on is Ansu Fati. It's a head-scratcher as why he isn't starting every game, is he, Ali? Because every time he comes on, every time he features, he just is like a breath of fresh air, I feel, coming onto the pitch because he plays with that swagger and with a bit of pace and isn't overthinking things. Why doesn't Setien play him more?
Well, I can tell you that those that defend Antoine Griezmann will say, well, he gives you so much work tactically, and he gives you so much work defensively and covers so much ground and balances off whatever Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez are doing in that front line. This is what I see. And this is the observation that is very clear to see who pays attention when Barcelona plays. Ansu Fati comes on for 20 minutes and takes on defenders at least 5 or 6 times. He receives that ball and he's going at somebody. Vertical, direct. I'm going to test the defender. I'm going to make you defend on your toes. I'm going to make you defend on your heels and see if you can keep up with me. I'm going to create a chance for myself or maybe create a chance for somebody else. That's in 20 minutes. Antoine Griezmann for 70 minutes doesn't come close to doing that one time in the game. No, I'm not even talking half a chance.
That's not his game.
He doesn't create one chance for himself or for anybody else on the field 70 minutes at a time. And as you said, this is not just one game. If you look at the balance of play of Antoine Griezmann over his Barcelona time, this has been his performance time and time and time again. And I see Ansu Fati playing and I'm saying, wait a minute. I know this guy's going to give me something that Antoine Griezmann is not giving. So credit to Quique Setien, who makes a decision, say, I don't care about the resume, I don't care about the player history. I'm going to put the guy who's going to help me win a game.
Go on, Jules.
I'm just amazed that Ali compares Antoine Griezmann in that position, which is not his position, by the way, which this is not his game, to Ansu Fati. Of course, Griezmann is not going to take players on. That's not what he does. You can't expect him to go and dribble past 2 or 3 people when that's not his game. That's Ansu Fati's game. Great, and he does it very well. If you play Griezmann in that position, we all have, and Setien first, and Messi and Suarez, we have to expect him to do something different. And if that doesn't fit, then he should not play in that position full stop. But we can't have Griezmann playing wide and then ask him to take on players when that's not his game. And then compare it with others who play in that position, who are their natural position, and said, oh yeah, look, he does much better than Griezmann in that position. Of course, everybody will do it better than Griezmann because that's not Griezmann's game. My issue is, when Griezmann does something well, like early in the first half, I think it's a Jordi Alba pass, Griezmann dummies it for Suarez, and then Suarez is in front of goal. Griezmann makes a great run on the left-hand side. Suarez, it's an easy pass for Suarez through, in the box, Griezmann on his left foot as well. That would be a great chance. What does Suarez do? He shoots wide. And I don't even understand how Suarez doesn't give the ball to Griezmann on that occasion. And yeah, of course, Griezmann doesn't do enough probably, or he doesn't pick up enough good positions. But on that occasion, this was perfect. The dummy was perfect. Suarez just had to give him the ball, slide the ball through, and that would have been great. And instead, he completely ignores him, shoots wide, and hardly apologizes at the end. And I think as long as, if you don't play on Griezmann qualities on the few occasions that you can, then it's a waste, and then don't play him at all.
So on 70 minutes, Jules, you're going to pick the one time that he was able to combine with Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi, and we're going to say, that's the one that we're going to hang on to? I got to tell you, I know that Antoine Griezmann is not a guy who's going to take players on time and time again, but I can expect from him to have an impact on the game offensively. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about him doing a step over and taking a player on. I'm talking about him having an impact. Ansu Fati has an impact on the game when he's on the field. Antoine Griezmann does not and hasn't had an impact for a long, long time for Barcelona.
Frank?
But you're right,
yeah,
but it's because Ansu Fati is a winger. So sorry, Frank, if Ansu Fati comes on as a winger, it's his natural position. He will have an impact in the game. If Griezmann plays wide, for him to have an impact at the game, he has to do something different or something special because that's not his position. And that chance, of course, you're right. That's probably the only thing he did tonight, and that was not enough. Of course, I agree with you and I understand your point. But the thing is, on that occasion, coming out from wide, this is exactly what he had to do. But the ball never came back to him. And I think that's a shame because if you play him in that position, you have to then use him when he's in the best position. And I don't think they did that enough tonight.
Go on, Frank.
My question, I have a question for Jules, because if he say that Griezmann doesn't play in his position, what is Griezmann's position then? Guess it's Messi's position or Suarez's position. So why Barcelona hired somebody who cannot be put in the right position. And that's my concern and that question. So why Barcelona took and hired and paid so much for Griezmann where there is no room for him?
But that's the question, of course, that's the question. His best position, we all know, is as a second striker. That's where he's the best, when he can, you know, when there's someone playing up front with him, whether that's Diego Costa or Morata or Giroud or whoever else, he can play on his own as a false number 9, but he would be far more efficient if he had someone playing up front with him. But Barca will never play like this. He will never play off Suarez, he will never play off Braithwaite, he will never play off anyone else, because that's just not the system. You can't do that, you can't do that with Messi on the pitch. So from the beginning, it was always a bit strange why they picked him and why he went there anyway. But it's even worse if you play him out wide, when it's even less his position than as a false number 9 or as a second striker. But he will never be able to play in his favorite position, in his best position at Barcelona, unless until Messi retires.
Well, that's the answer and the conclusion of that. So some people made mistake. Barcelona, the club, the chairman, I don't know who decides, made a big mistake hiring Griezmann. But Griezmann is also responsible to take that decision last summer to come to Barcelona. I mean, it makes no sense from those people to decide to agree on something that in fact was going to be a problem at the end of the day. Well, we talked about Griezmann, but do we have a minute to talk about Suarez and what he did tonight or not? Because if we talk about Griezmann ghost, we can talk about Suarez tonight, I think, and we can talk also about Arthur and maybe some others, because really, then Griezmann is not the only one to have been so poor tonight.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.